evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another weekly watch list. I am your host, the Option Addict, from www.tradingaddicts.com. Let's dive in and get started. After doing a lot of research this evening, looking through various watch lists and doing a little bit of research finding trade ideas for the upcoming week, I'm looking down here in front of me at one of the longest lists I've had in a while. A few things I do want to speak to before we get started. I have very little time here this evening, but there's a lot of economic data coming out this week. You've got PPI, CPI, housing starts, FOMC minutes. A lot of information coming out at you this week, so make sure you're prepared for it. But in regards to stock ideas, I'm going to throw out some dips, some rips, some breakouts, some breakdowns as an appetizer before we get started. So here you go. Alright, and I've got a long list of price patterns that I want to run through, so let's dive in. First off, I'm going to take a look at LG, one of these few stocks that we've watched unravel a very nice uptrend throughout this terrible market climate. But what we have here is we've got two equal highs using closing prices right up here at around the $54 mark, and we're getting ready to form a lower high right here at about 50. So keep an eye on this. If this level does not hold, then we've got a nice little double top here I think you might want to keep an eye on to trade. This could lead to about an additional 10% decline in the stock price. Let's move a little bit faster on this one. Next is LHCG. I'm just watching this as a flag. In fact, we've been watching this one for quite a while, so no breakout yet. But as we watch this develop, look for a breakout to the upside, which should point to higher prices. Next is Casey's General Stores, ticker symbol CASY, and I'm just looking at this as a potential inverse head and shoulders pattern. As a continuation, you can also look at this as maybe a little bit of a cup and handle, but nonetheless performed pretty well even though the market gave up a lot of its gains there on Friday. And looks like it's getting ready to break out here if we see any kind of upside movement, so keep your eye on this one. Next is ticker symbol AZN, AstraZeneca, and all I'm watching here is a little bit of a triangle develop. And as this does develop, I'm kind of looking for a breakout to the upside, so as soon as this level here at about 43 gives way, look to buy some calls here. Next is ticker symbol PTRY, another inverse head and shoulders pattern as a continuation. You've got shoulder, head, shoulder, and good performance here on Friday with what looked like a breakout early on and what should be a breakout if we see higher stock prices into next week. Next is ticker symbol PTV for Pactive. I'm just looking at this as almost a little bit of an ascending triangle. A lot of resistance up here about 26.5, sitting down here around support at about 24.5. So look for a breakout to the upside of about 26. Next is CF, one of the few stocks here that haven't really given up on this old inverse head and shoulders formation yet. As long as we stick down here around this prior shoulder at 50, I think this is still very manageable. So remember, these patterns aren't really there until they confirm, which in this case would be a break above about 65, 70, right through that range. But it hasn't yet failed either. Next, some utility stocks, ticker symbol EXC. The triangle pattern here lives on, still developing. You can also see the exact same pattern here in the old XLU. I've been taking a very big interest to these as of late. Next, we're going to look at ticker symbol MIL, Millipore. And we're a little bit early in this one, but it looks like there's a triangle developing, so I want you to keep an eye on it, especially around support. Next is Edison, another utility stock, another triangle. Know about it. Next is Visa. I like the fact that Visa's been holding up here lately. I want you to keep a close eye on that because this inverse head and shoulders pattern hasn't failed yet. It's still consolidating here on this last shoulder. So with higher stock prices, I like this to break out. I think this puts together a pretty good move. Next is FDX, which is a sell the rip candidate. But I also like this as a catalyst here, this nice little pennant that's been forming here. So use that as the little trigger to trade this to the downside. Next is ETR, again another utility stock, another triangle. Been there, done that. Next is Athena Health, ticker symbol ATHN. Another inverse head and shoulders pattern. Holding up at this last shoulder pretty well. Watch for a break above 30. Next is Waste Management. I like the fact that we've got a really big triangle that's been forming through here. So maybe look to buy a dip off support or trade the breakout. Next is ticker symbol PXD. What I've got here is a pretty looking descending triangle. So look to trade this on a break below 22. Next is Flowserve, ticker symbol FLS. And this one has a little bit more of a symmetrical nature to it, but the thing I like about it here is that it's at a very manageable point off support. So if I'm going to anticipate a move at least to resistance or even a breakout as a reversal here, I like to buy it right down here at these lows. Next is Massey Energy, ticker symbol MEE. And there you see we've got another descending triangle. You'll see the same thing here in old Arch Coal, ticker symbol ACI, pointing to the next leg lower. Next is ticker symbol BRP, Brazil Telecom. Here you can see we're at the apex of this symmetrical triangle. Looks like we had a breakdown, then we had a breakout, now we're sitting right at the apex. So look to see how this thing opens on Monday to get a better idea of direction, but I still think that this thing's going to develop a trend from here. Next is ticker symbol PH, the old Parker Hannifin. You guys remember this one. Descending triangle. Look to trade the breakdown. Next is ticker symbol DUG. And I know a lot of you have been following this one here lately, but I just want to make sure that you're watching this. Boom, boom, boom. You know what that means. Next is ticker symbol CEPH. All I'm looking at here is a nice little flag that had formed over the last few days, and Friday it sustained a breakout and some volume. So you gotta love that. Next is ticker symbol NDSN, Nordson. Descending triangle. Good looking one to trade. And last but not least, we've got ticker symbol NGG. National Grid. Illiquid stock. Doesn't change the fact though that there's a monster triangle and it's sitting at support. Yeah, you look to buy some shares. Anyway, folks, that'll do it for this week. Another laundry list of stocks here to trade. If you'd like to follow us on some of the specifics of these trades, make sure to check us out at www.tradingaddicts.com. But in the meantime, this is the Option Addict. That's my watch list. Thanks for watching. Take care.
Nam yo ringekyo, nam yo ringekyo.